what culture? My name is Simon Miller. As you already know, you're about to watch another episode in the Why series. But obviously, you're now looking at me and you're like, what is this? Why is Miller wearing a sling? And because of that, I'm just going to say this. As you may or may not know, I have recently entered the world to become a real pro wrestler. And yeah, at a recent Defiant Wrestling taping, I did this. And that's all I'm going to say about it. The reason I'm not saying any more is because right now, I don't know what the deal is. I gotta go have some tests and some scans, and people are gonna talk to me and they're gonna say stuff into my face and I'm gonna reply into their face. So before then, I just wanted to address it. You can see it. We've all seen it. Now let's move on and get back to your regular scheduled programming. But Kenny Omega, I mean, if you've been watching him for the last 5 or 6 years, who would have thought come 2018 he would indeed be stood on top of the mountain? And really, he's one of the most powerful wrestlers in the entire world. Why? Don't touch arm. Here's why. Now there's plenty of evidence out there already to prove all of this, but if you are indeed someone who enjoys some new facts being thrown in your face, well, take this. In this week's episode of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Kenny Omega got 2 5-star matches. Two! All coming from New Japan's G1 Climax tournament that is going on right now. Kenny Omega went and had a match with Naito, and he got 5 stars. Then he went and had a match with Goto, and he got 5 stars. And we can go on and talk about how maybe Dave Meltzer is just biased towards New Japan. But here's the thing, I bet we could all watch it and at least go, oh my gosh, that's 2 amazing matches, and it basically happened in the same time it takes me to blink. And I mean, who else is doing that? If we look over towards the world of WWE, someone like AJ Styles can pull a good match out of everybody, but you don't hear people talking about him in the same way they do Kenny Omega. And this also ties into everything that's been going on over the last 12 to 24 months. I mean, not only has Kenny Omega been involved in some of the best matches ever, he's part of that argument, his feud with Okada is also considered one of the best feuds ever. So he's basically got a big, he's got a load of boxes and he's got a big marker pen and he's just ticking them. Every year that goes by, he goes, I'll tick that, no matter what I achieve, no matter what goals I have, what targets I set, I'm going to walk out there, I'm going to smash them because yes, I'm one of the best professional wrestlers ever. And you know what else ties into all of this? As New Japan does indeed try to expand into the West, they've picked a man to be the flag bearer. He is the one they want to spearhead into America and Canada and all of that, try and sell more tickets and merchandise and become a worldwide company. And it's not like he's the only Western guy on the roster. There's other people they could have at least looked into, had a sit-down meeting with, but they didn't because 9 times out of 10, if you've got someone like Kenny Omega on your books, he doesn't sit in second place. He's number 1. He's the king. He wears the crown. This whole idea gathers more steam when you start looking away from New Japan as well. I mean, Ring of Honor always want to book him, and he certainly does work for other promotions from time to time. And then, of course, there's the big dog in the yard, not Roman Reigns, but WWE. And if you think right now that Vince McMahon and friends don't want to try and sign Kenny Omega, let me tell you this, you're sniffing the wrong salts. Sniffing the wrong salts. Nobody says sniffing the wrong salts. That's not a phrase, but it is now. What it means is, if you're doing that, if you are sniffing the wrong salts, it means you're mistaken. Now, around about a decade or so ago, that would have meant Kenny is more than likely headed up to New York and he'd leave behind the indie scene and he would become a full-time WWE superstar. But in 2018, that's not how the world works anymore. And this is where the whole idea of Kenny Omega being powerful starts to come into play. In short, he's in control of his own destiny. If WWE does indeed want to bring the man in, they're probably going to have to pay him a fortune, but also give him certain assurances, like we're going to use you well creatively, and maybe, just maybe, promise him that he is going to be used as a top star. When that does happen, the people that already do have him, well then they have to offer him more money and also offer him assurances like, well, we're going to do this with you in 6 months, and in 12 months, you're going to be here. So ultimately, Kenny Omega can kind of choose exactly what he does, and no matter where he ends up, he should be in a better position than he is in now. Do you know what that equates to? I'll let you have a moment to think about it. Remember the title, remember what I've been saying throughout this video. That's right, power. And this all does tie into the Madison Square Garden Ring of Honor WWE situation, which has recently reared its head. And if you don't know about that, I'll give you a quick update now. In short, Ring of Honor wanted to run Madison Square Garden. WWE heard about that. They called up the arena and said, look, we've been working together for years. Don't do that. We're buddies. We're boys. And then whoever runs the venue went, oh yeah, we are buddies. We are boys. And they rang back Ring of Honor and they said, we're going to cancel. Sinclair, who own ROH, then said to MSG, all right, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to sue you. And unsurprisingly, the management there then turned around and said, okay, you can actually run the date. We did agree with that. Screw WWE. And that's incredible because we haven't had a wrestling company run that other than WWE in years. tickets. Now, considering that's going down in April 2019, because it will indeed run head-to-head with NXT during Mania weekend, Kenny Omega all of a sudden starts to become, he's like the prettiest girl at the dance, because everybody's going to want him. On the one hand, if he does appear on this Ring of Honor show, and yes, he's going to be crossed over with New Japan, he is going to be an important piece of that puzzle. And really, they need him to ensure they do get rid of all their tickets. But over here, you've got WWE, who you just know are going to do everything they possibly can to ensure that show doesn't do very well. You know a great way to do that, you know what you should do? You take Kenny Omega out of the mix, take the Young Bucks out of the mix, you take Cody Rhodes out of the mix, and then you kind of depleted Ring of Honor and New Japan of all their stars, and ultimately, maybe more people will go watch NXT thinking they're going to turn up there, than go and watch a show down the road. And let's not forget too that it's not just wrestling that Kenny Omega is doing now. Recently, he's been popping up in video game commercials that shows he has crossover appeal. What can't this man do? Oh, and also, let's get back to basics too. He's a really, really nice guy or comes across that way. And yes, he's insanely talented. I mean, you try and give me a name right now who's more talented as a wrestler than Kenny Omega. I'm just going to stand here and wait, give you time to think about it, and then realize this is a pre-recorded video. I can't read the comments until it goes live, so we'll just stop there and we'll start talking about other stuff. But all of this is absolutely true, and it's an awesome situation for a pro wrestler to be in. He holds all the cards, and he hasn't taken any shit from nobody. If he even thinks for a second that he's going to be screwed over, he can just turn around and there'll be 40 other doors all of a sudden opening, and they'll all be welcoming Kenny Omega in, saying, Kenny, let me cut you a cup of tea, give you a piece of cake, whatever you want, Kenny, whatever you want, Kenny, Kenny, whatever you want, please work for me, Kenny. And there's other dudes that are up there as well, but I would say none are higher than Kenny Omega, who, yes, is the most powerful pro wrestler in the world. You know what else is the most important bit? The man absolutely deserves it. He's been killing it over the last, well, for ages really, but especially over the last 24 months, and there ain't no way he ain't going to keep killing it as that clock keeps counting down. He is, quite ironically, a superstar. Now don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. Like, share and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, and follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon from What Culture. Again, ignore this, we'll get to it as we get to it. Thank you very much for watching, and you know what? I'll see you soon.